Knowing God does not start with you or with what you do. It's not what you know, but who knows you. You belong to God. You are treasured by Him. God delights in you. Welcome to Life as God Intended. Thanks for watching today's broadcast. I'm truly glad you've tuned in, and I believe that you will be encouraged and challenged today. And if you're new to our channel, please subscribe. And if you would, give us a thumbs up for this particular video, and don't forget to push that notification bell. I love hearing from you, so please leave your comments below. And may I say a big thank you to those of you who have recently donated to help us with the production costs of these videos. We greatly appreciate it. And as I've mentioned before, your gifts are tax-deductible donations. It's not what you know, but who knows you. Did you hear me correctly? Notice I did not say it's not what you know, but who you know. That's traditionally what we have heard. The meaning of this well-known statement, it's not what you know, but who you know, is generally understood as having connections that are important, are actually more important than your skills or your abilities. The phrase is commonly used when a less qualified person gets a promotion well above the level of their competency. And so those coworkers will say, well, it's not what you know, but it's who you know. However, I stated it's not what you know, but who knows you. The clear difference is between you and who. Who you know versus who knows you. Christian religion has often admonished us to know God. And the burden, of course, is on you and what you know. However, the Apostle Paul admonishes through the Corinthian letter, we all possess knowledge, but knowledge puffs up, while love builds up. Those who think they know something do not know as they ought to know. But whoever loves God is known by God. Paul is saying it's not what you know, but who knows you. Too often, we, like the Corinthians, are persuaded through religion to seek God, to know Him by all means, praying, fasting, studying His Word, availing ourselves to various other means of grace. Now, there's certainly nothing wrong with reading Scripture and praying. However, as many sincere Christians have testified, having done so, these and many other well-intended believers still find themselves floundering in their faith. In spite of their sincere efforts, the question many Christians find themselves asking is, where's the freedom that Christ promised? Why do I struggle continuously with the same fleshly issues? Why do I feel so rejected and live in shame after all that I've tried to do? My best efforts to know God have fallen short, resulting in viewing myself as a failure as a Christian. I might as well throw in the towel and give up on trying to live the Christian life. well, you may find yourself strangely relating to some of these sentiments. However, would it surprise you to discover that God is pleased that you have failed to live the Christian life? That's right, because God never intended you to do so. The Christian life is the Christ life, not your best efforts to live for Him. It's not about how much you know about God, but rather, are you known by God? Knowing God does not start with you or what you do. There's a huge difference between knowing God and being known by God. And unless we change our focus from attempting to know God to being known by God, we will never experience life as God intended. Now, you may be asking, what's the difference? Well, let me explain. Think about it this way. Knowing God focuses on you. Knowledge focuses on what you know. You knowing His Word, what the Scripture says, an emphasis on what is truth, an inquiring of knowledge about God, and hoping for a better relationship with God, and a more consistent behavioral expression of being right and doing right. Are you catching it? It's all about the knowledge that you have. You might have thought in terms of should've, would've, or could've, which of course is grammatically incorrect, but perfectly illustrates the point of pursuing knowledge rather than being known by God. I should have read my Bible. I should have spent more time with God. I should have prayed for many hours a day. I. My focus is on me. These should have, would have, and could have ironically only lead us further away from God, causing us to be guilted in blaming ourselves for not measuring up. Often, when a Christian feels this way, they revert to their own personal flesh patterns of fight or fright or flight when overwhelmed by the impossible, believing that they are not good enough. Once again, the idea that it's up to me to know God, that it's a heavy burden and no one was really intended to bear that burden. You see, it's at this point of despair that many can no longer face God, believing God sees them as a failure, while still others double down and become obsessed, trying harder to be all that God would have them to be. These Christians can become callous and rigid in their legalistic beliefs, even becoming indifferent to the needs of others, often self-righteously debating their religious beliefs. The craving that we all have to know God can sometimes be misguided because of the fact that we didn't understand that we are known by God. And this craving to know God often leads to performance-based acceptance. Our view of God is based solely on how well we are performing for Him based on our knowledge of Him. Failure is seen as inadequately knowing God. Had they known God better, prayed more, studied the Bible more, they would not have failed God. But because they have, they are failures, and the only remedy is to go back to basics, start over, and try harder. The religious treadmill of performance. Can you relate? In fact, the greatest fear of a religious Christian is to be labeled a disappointment to God. Christianity is not about being right. It's about being known by God. God's primary concern is not that we learn lessons from the circumstances of life, but rather that we remain relationally receptive to His desire to manifest His loving character by His grace in every circumstance of our lives. Therefore, Christianity is not simply a change in direction, but recognizing a change in connection. Appreciating the spiritual exchange that's taken place in us. And as a result, we are now known by God and called by His name. Christians, Christ ones. Live known personally and intimately by Him today. We hope you were encouraged and blessed by this video. We would love to have your feedback and interact with you. If you have a testimony that relates to today's discussion, please share it below in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so that each time we upload a video that you'll be notified. Be sure to check out our blog on our website, which is in the description below. And until next time, may you experience life as God intended.